Okay. Nope, we already have more people trying to join. All right, let's go on into our class. The first thing I need to show you is I completely overhauled our videos. So I told you yesterday that meaning class videos, that I added in a link inside of your module, and I did for yesterday, but since I totally changed everything, I'm not going to keep doing that. I'll leave that there, but instead, when you're on the home page, you're still going to go to class videos, and it looks completely different now. Instead of the list, I actually have a calendar, and so now you can go to the day. So going back right now, because all those assignments are closed, isn't going to help unless you need to review something for like a final or just want to review the notes because you're not doing great on a quiz. But you can always go back and rewatch any of these videos, and then I named them according to what we were doing that day. So for example, yesterday we did types of characters. So if you missed yesterday, you can just click on this link and enter this passcode and it'll let you. And then from today on, I'm no longer requiring a passcode. I took that off. So all you have to do is click the link and it'll go right to the video. You don't have to enter passcodes anymore. But for anything before today, you do need to still enter the passcode. This should be much easier for those of you that miss a day or aren't able to get on until later. I've already posted today's lesson because I've already taught it a couple other times for other English 9 classes. But you can just click on this and it'll take you right to it if like something happens. So like yesterday, somebody said, oh, well, you were teaching, my internet started lagging. And I said, okay, just go watch the video because then you can watch it when your internet's up and running correctly. So the same thing for everything. So from now on, it's going to be put into the calendar and you just go to whatever day you missed and then look for whatever the title is. So if we're doing an IN page, then it's definitely going to say IN. If it's like an ed puzzle, again, then I probably won't post a video. And then just so you know, there's never going to be videos on Fridays because we always take quizzes on Fridays. And then when you guys are presenting, which won't happen until right around this week, I won't be doing videos because I don't want to post videos of you guys without your permission, and a lot of you guys are just more comfortable doing it with me instead of everybody. So whenever we do that, there won't be videos, but anytime there's a lesson or interactive notes, there will definitely be one there for you to use. All right, let's go ahead and go into our, whoops, sorry about that, into our class and our modules. Just so you know, every single one of your past assignments up through Sunday has been graded. Your grades are completely updated. I had a question about somebody like, why did their grade go down? It's because now if you are missing something, it has been put in as missing. And once I put it in as missing, it goes as a 0. So if you were still missing stuff after Sunday, you now have zeros in all of those spots, and that's possibly why you are your grade changed some. That's for everybody. If you didn't do every single thing that was missing, it now says missing and reflects as a 0. Remember from yesterday on, you have to turn in things on time. But if you missed yesterday, I did say that I'll use today's, for example. Today is September 9th, but we're actually doing this we're doing this on September 9th. But the due date isn't till tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. So I did that for all of your assignments. I gave you an extra day on everything. So if something happens one day, like I talked to somebody after class yesterday and they were having internet problems, you still have a whole nother day. But your main thing, remember I told you when we looked at the syllabus, your main thing with me is that you need to be able to self-advocate. So if you're having problems, remember my goal is to have you pass. Like I want you guys to do good in this class. So don't assume anything about me. Like if you're having major problems, then send me an inbox message and we'll talk about it and we'll figure out a way to get it working. Or at least a way that I can help you through it. But you have to self-advocate. You've got to send me an inbox message. Especially now, I can't see you every day. So if there's any way I'm going to know what's going on, it's because you are telling me. not because I can see the expression on your face or anything, because most of you guys just come on with the black screen. All right, let's go ahead and get into, as always, you can check today's agenda on week 5 at a glance. Today, you guys are responsible for types of characters. We'll finish our notes from yesterday, which is at the top of this page. And then you guys have some stuff that you need to fill in on your own on this interactive notebook page. You're also responsible for your tangerine questions for 9-9 to 9-11. And then the book is right here at the top. As far as page numbers go, again, I'm telling you, check in at your week 5 at a glance, because the page numbers that are on here are accurate according to the PDF that I have posted for you guys. All right, everybody needs to go on and click inside of interactive notebook types of characters too. Again, the easiest way for you guys to take your notes in here and fill everything in is to click edit presentation and then edit in browser. I'm going to leave this because it's bigger if I use my actual PowerPoint. So you guys go ahead and open that up. And then I can zoom in here. All right. So we have 2 more types of characters we need to go over. Yesterday we went over flat and round and static and dynamic. Remember, flat characters are a character that you don't know much about or you don't know very well. A minor character is actually less than that. You know them even less. And what a minor character is a character mentioned only briefly. I'm just gonna fix this box real quick. And this is less than a flat character. Now, what does that mean? So yesterday we went over flat characters. We talked about how those are people you only know a little bit about. And then the example I gave you was Paul's dad's boss. All we really know about him is that he likes to gamble. He's Paul's dad's boss, and he's hardly ever at work. But we know enough about him that he's a flat character. A minor character would be sort of like if you're watching a movie and it's just somebody that like walks by and you never learn their name, or you do learn their name but they're really only in one scene, that's a minor character. So in Tangerine, a minor character, a great example are the girls that the guys mention that they want to date. We don't really learn more about them other than they're cheerleaders and Paul's brother and his friends want to date him because they're on the football team, and that's it. So those girls would be minor characters because we don't learn anything else about them. Remember, again, it's a lot like an extra on a movie set. It's just somebody that's there, but we don't really get to know them at all. We don't really learn anything about them. And then a sympathetic character is a character whose situation you understand, sympathize with, or can relate to. A character whose situation you understand, sympathize with, or can relate to. Okay. Now here's where it gets a little interesting. I told you this yesterday, I'm going to tell you again. It's very important you know how the types of characters relate to one another. Meaning, if it's a sympathetic character we're talking about and we understand them and we can sympathize them, then it must mean that we know a lot about them in order to understand or sympathize with them. We have to, which means that a minor character can never be a sympathetic character. A flat character we only know a little bit about. So that flat character can never be also a sympathetic character. However, we also talked about round characters, and round characters are a character that we know a lot about. So does it automatically make a round character sympathetic? No. But if you know a lot about that character, it's a round character, and you sympathize with them, they can also be a sympathetic character. Then we had if the character changes throughout the novel, and that was static and dynamic. It doesn't matter if the character changes. What matters is if you sympathize with them or you can relate to them. So a static and dynamic or a dynamic character can both be sympathetic. You need to know, I'm going to specifically ask you questions like, can a flat character be a sympathetic character? Or I'll say, can a sympathetic character be a minor character? You have to know to answer yes or no, or true or false. You have to know how they relate to one another. So make sure that you do. I'll also be asking specific questions about characters in Tangerine. So Paul is definitely not a minor character. Paul would be a round character, a dynamic character, and also a sympathetic character. By the time we finish the story, you're definitely going to be sympathetic to him, but you should already be, because we know like he's been tried to kill, but he thinks his brother's trying to kill him. Like he's got a lot of things going on. So maybe you can relate in a way. So Paul is definitely sympathetic, round, and dynamic. But everybody is different in the book. So you have to be able to identify those. Okay, that's the end of your notes for today. The rest of this all has to do with Tangerine and what you've already learned about protagonists and antagonists. So I put Tangerine down the side here because I want to make it very obvious that we're doing this for Tangerine. All right, so a protagonist, we've already learned a couple weeks ago, is the main character of the story. So thinking back on Tangerine, somebody tell me, who is the main character of the story? Who's the protagonist? Anybody can answer. Come on, guys. Uh-huh. Paul. Yes. So you guys would triple click here and then type in Paul. And if Paul is the protagonist, who's his antagonist? Remember, an antagonist is somebody in direct conflict with him. Who's causing him problems?
Eric.
Thank you, Leah. So it's definitely Eric. All right. The first step for here is you need to, the directions are here. It says, in the center square, explain why this character is considered the protagonist. So you need to write here, why is Paul the protagonist? It's very simple. Paul is Tangerine. Tangerine is Paul's diary. Paul's diary is written in first person. Everything Paul writes is I, which makes him the main character. You need to be able to explain that here in your own words. The antagonist, use the definition I gave you a couple weeks ago. Remember, the antagonist is in direct conflict with the protagonist. So put something here about what kind of issues are going on and why that makes Eric the antagonist so far in the book. A lot more is going to happen in the book, but even this early on, when we're only through part 1 and a little bit into part 2, we already know Eric is the antagonist. Then what you're going to do is you're going to prove what you wrote in the center by putting quotes from the book. So I'm going to do one from each, just a quick sample. So in order to do that, I've got to open up the PDF of Tangerine. And you guys have it wherever you saved it, or you have it right in your module. So here's the thing. Paul is the person who wrote this. And when you say, if you put in your explanation that this is first person and it's Paul's diary, then the only thing you need to prove is that Paul's the one's talking. So I could literally choose anything in here that starts with an I, like this. I picked up the garbage bag and hauled it out to the curb. I can take this quote, copy it, and go and paste it in here. And that is a quote that helps prove my point that I wrote here in protagonist. And that's only if I wrote in here that this is written in first person. Putting the I here obviously shows that it's first person. It doesn't fit quite, so you can leave it highlighted and then just shrink it. And then make sure, because these are quotes, that you put quotation marks around it. to show that it's a quote. And then also I want you guys to tell me where it's from. So this particular quote is from page 4. So I'm going to go back over here, and then off to the side, I'm just going to write P4. All right, for the antagonist, I said, so my definition would have something to do with being in direct conflict with Paul. So I need to find something that proves that Eric is in direct conflict with Paul. So even right here in the prologue, we can find that. So I'm going to say, I'm going to grab this right here. I stammered out, Eric, he tried to kill me. That shows at least Paul thinks Eric's in conflict with him. So then I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to use this here, and I'm going to paste it in, and then 1, 2, 3. And I just change the size of my font. And then because this is still a quote, you still need to have your quotation marks all the way around it. So I'm going to put that there, and then I'm going to change this one to a single, and then add another single in there. And then this shows that this is still a quote within a quote. And then that particular quote is from page 5. And you can use any pages you want from what we've read so far. Those are just a couple of examples. So again, the only reason this one works here is because I would have put something about this being first person. If you're going to change up your reasoning, then your quotes need to match that. Again, I would have put here that it has something to do with him being in direct conflict, and this quote right here proves that there's conflict. So you're going to need to fill in the blue boxes in your own writing, and then your orange, yellow, and green boxes with 3 more quotes from the book. All right, before I let you go, does anybody have any questions about today's work?